So let's talk about what we do exactly. What is the Adaptiv Networks solution? So first of all, we are a network as a service player. So we provide a full subscription-based model to a SD-WAN network, which is all-inclusive. So when you subscribe to a service with Adaptiv Networks, you get a low-cost edge device, you get the entire network with all the capabilities of the gateways and the network, and all of that is cloud orchestrated. But I'll run you through this. But what's important to understand here is that a lot of the complexity we deal with. And we deal with so that the partner doesn't have to deal with it, such as deploying gateways or an orchestrator, and so that the end customer, the business, does not have to deal with that complexity. But let's start from the edge and let's sort of work our way through that network to see what really happens and what is a true SD-WAN solution. So we believe that in the marketplace we're in, we need the edge device to be reasonably low price so that the subscription can be reasonable in price. And the reason is very simple. Smaller businesses don't get the same economies of scale. Their branches are smaller. Their IT cost as a fraction as a proportion of revenue is 2 to 3 times more than the Fortune 500. So they are more cost sensitive. So we know that we need an SD-WAN solution that is not only simple, but is also affordable in that market. So those edge devices are not only reasonably low cost, but they also, and frankly, the cost is for us to bear because it's a network as a service, so it includes the edge device. But the importance is not only the cost, it's also the scalability angle. One of the less frictionless aspects in IT is having to replace a piece of hardware. So we always ensure that the edge devices that are deployed have ample opportunities for bandwidth increase. And we provide a high level of scalability. And we do that because we can do all of the heavy lifting in the core network. So we keep the edge software as lean as can be. Now, of course, there's some functions that have to be done at the edge, and that's where they're done. But some functions that can be done in the gateways, we're doing them in the gateways instead, where we have an opportunity to have much more horsepower and CPU capabilities than at the edge. Now, thanks to the fact that we do have, of course, we use multiple local loops or internet connection from the edge. Depending on the device, you can have up to 7 of them. And we always create that tunnel to the gateway. And that's very important because by doing that, we change the demarcation point from a digital service standpoint. Whatever you're consuming in the cloud is actually seeing the gateway as the end IP address. And that means that we don't rely on the local loops for any of the IP or the addressing. So the routing is done from the gateway. And if one of the underlay go down, let's say that you have one of the DSL link goes down and you have, say, an LT passive failover, which is all part of that overlay, there really won't be much, there won't be a failover that will be completely seamless because the actual tunnel has remained completely intact and the digital services are still seeing exactly the same IP address and all there might be is a bit of a packet retransmit on a TCP transaction. Now, we operate those multi-tenant gateways, and let me talk about that. Now, the edge device always talks to the gateway, which is essentially a concentrator, and we have a number of gateways which are interconnected with one another, effectively forming a private mesh. And the beauty of this is that when you have data transiting from edge to edge, it does not go in the public internet other than the local loop, for which we are able to QoS bidirectionally on that link and the other links, really providing what we call edge-to-edge bidirectional QoS. Now, the gateways are fully multi-tenant, so is the orchestrator. Multi-tenancy in a network as a service where we sell through partners, and that's the only go-to-market for Adaptiv Networks, we never sell directly to the end customer. We know it's very important for our partners to be able to sell an SD-WAN solution, offer an SD-WAN as a service solution without having to deploy an orchestrator or their own gateways, which would be sort of the model that we described before, which is you're building a network. So the multi-tenancy of our platform allows us to create essentially new tenants for any new partner without any overhead in terms of the infrastructure. So there is no upfront cost and there's no upfront complexity. Again, it's part of our promise of offering something that is seamless and that is frictionless. And finally, we have a sales accelerator, which we call it the Adaptiv Partner, because we know that being frictionless has to do also with how you engage with your own salespeople, and how you have access to quality marketing material so that you can quickly get up to speed, get certified on the solution, and engage with your customers so that you can be most effective at demonstrating the value you can bring to them when it's relevant. There will be cases where you will have customers that will say, oh, I'm too small and I don't need an SD-WAN solution, and that might be true. Until they fully embark on a digitalization strategy to become a digital first business. That might be the case. And there may be very large businesses that are saying, well, I want a private network. And in that case, we're not the right solution. There are plenty of good solutions there.